to push the record button.
This meeting is being recorded.
So welcome everyone. This meeting is being what's called by 4 LSC members as an effort to move the work forward for the school, specifically in 2 areas. So before we get started, let's go ahead and do a roll call of those folks who are here. If you could just state your name and your role, and I will record that on the notes. For the
Nick Hall.
LSC members.
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead.
Nick Hall, teacher rep.
Thanks.
Tina Holder King, parent rep. And I am taking minutes, Sarah, just to let you know.
It is Chirag, parent rep.
And Sarah Ogato, parent rep.
Turn it down, please.
Any other LSC members present? I'm scrolling through the list here just to make sure. All right, so, all right, thank you. So the agenda is here. Hopefully you can see my screen. If you can't, there is a link to the agenda in the chat. But it's twofold in nature. One is to discuss the budget transfer needed for the Lexia online subscription, being able to transfer about $2,400 to cover that, the cost for that for this month. And then the other budget item to discuss is the fundraiser for the second annual minted.com, as well as the Dining Nights In. And then we'll have public participation, and the next formal LSC meeting is December 2nd. So that's the agenda. Right now we're at 4 LSC members. We don't have quorum. We need 7 for quorum. So at this point we can discuss the line items, but until we reach that quorum quota, we will not be able to move forward with a vote. So with that said, let's move into the budget transfer line item, and I'll put it to the floor for conversation. We need to talk about that or discuss that.
Actually, yeah, I had a question about this. Nick, can you remind me do you know what Lexia is again? Seeing this is coming from student fees, I just wanted a refresher on this one, as long as we're together.
Yeah, so I don't use it myself in music, but I know that it is a reading program that I know for sure the primary team all use, and I'm not sure about intermediate. I think it's more geared towards the younger students, but don't quote me on that. And it is, yes, it is a reading program that kind of online that goes to the level of, it's adapted to each kid's reading ability. And I know for sure the primary team, so K1-2 uses it on a regular basis.
We've been using it for a while.
Yeah, it's nothing new. And I think we expanded the subscription last year when we knew, well, kind of just in general, and then it happened to be the fact that we were all going to remote learning. So it's definitely something that is used.
I assume like that student fee, we didn't collect student fees this year, did we? Did we know?
No, we did not collect any student fees, so that would be still
Left
the
over.
remainder of last year's student fees.
Okay.
All right. Any other points of conversation we want to have on the budget transfer? Okay. And then fundraising. That's the other agenda item we have. We'll open the floor for a conversation about that as well. I know I had a question, and hopefully just would love to hear folks' thoughts on that. But and part of my conversation with the LSC rep and planning for this conversation today, they did, bring up again the moratorium on the fundraising. I'm assuming we have had conversations with the principal about that, and she's kind of vetted that with the network chief. But I just wanted to, put that on the radar again, or just ask if those conversations have happened. Ask out loud.
If I recall, let's see, this is November, so at the October meeting, or whichever meeting, that fundraising was originally not on the agenda because of the moratorium, and then we modified the agenda to include discussion. That was because Mira had conversation downtown to get permission for those, or someone had conversation to get those fundraisers approved to move forward.
Awesome. Definitely. That point of clarity is needed and necessary. Thank you, Tina, for that.
I had a question about the purpose. I mean, do we already know where the money's going to go? Particularly, well, I guess it's a twofold question. One is, at this point, if these make it back on the agenda for the December meeting, how soon will these fundraisers happen? I don't know if FOB is on the call, but how soon can these fundraisers happen, if at all? And then do we know how much of this money will go to the Agassiz Assistance Fund?
Yeah.
Do we know if there's any money in that fund at this point?
Yeah. I know from the conversation we had last week that, these fundraisers are pretty timely. And I know, Patty is here, and she had shared that, if we're not able to get this out the door by this month, it sounds like, especially for the dining nights in partnership, and even, with Minted, it's holiday cards. So next conversation's in December. Most folks send out their holiday cards, before Thanksgiving. So not sure how promising it will be to get these fundraisers off the ground. But as I've put in the conversation with Patty, but I know she's here.
Am I allowed to speak now or
Yeah.
to respond? Yes, thank you, Sarah. That's correct. The first dining night out, dining night out actually, that we have scheduled was with Lou Malnati's restaurants at 3 of their locations that meet a large part of our community's neighborhoods, was scheduled for December 7th. So that was actually the only time that they had available for the rest really of 2020. And so they will not be taking any more dining nights until January. So December 7th was chosen, and that was going to be a chance for us to meet as a community as well. And on Zoom, we were planning to do that where families could get together, and those who were able to get the pizza, or if they didn't want the pizza and they wanted something else, it's not a requirement to get the pizza, but it was also a community building event. So it was kind of twofold. And yes, the event is scheduled for December 7th. So we wanted to start the advertising actually the day after the meeting last week. So and it doesn't look like you guys have quorum for tonight. So I'm guessing this won't happen in time, unfortunately. When's the next meeting? The 3rd?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not really a lot of time to really advertise a Zoom get together with families. Parents are saying they like at least a week's notice for events like that in general. And I think that's a fair thing. And I also think for the restaurant, I don't think it's really fair to them to take away the opportunity to give it our best shot, So that's for that one. And then like you said, the Minted one is for holiday cards. Last year, we didn't learn about Minted and that they did fundraisers with schools until late. So we didn't get started until I think December on that one. So we missed our chances on that. Like you said, Sarah, a lot of people do get their holiday cards ready around now. So that also was going to be advertised. And again, I want to just be clear. I know that there is a moratorium on fundraising to an extent, but Mira shared with us at our Friends of meeting that, or maybe she told us in an email, I can't remember where, but definitely we were told that based on how the funds were planning to be used, it did meet with the criteria and the restrictions on fundraising for this year. It said as long as it's, to benefit remote learning in some capacity. And so that's exactly where our fundraising dollars were going, to staff repairs on their devices to use from home, new staff devices, and for the newly created assistant fund for families in need, which we have many in crisis right now. But I think those all fit the bill, and that's how Mira was able to get that approved. So we've been, carrying on based on that approval that we were given at that time.
Yeah. Thank you, Patty. I mean, I just can't press upon one such, simple error, to not get this out. Here's a simple way to rectify the problem. It's for such a huge missed opportunity. One is, being able to have these, this fundraiser, bringing families together during this time. Holidays can be really tough, depending upon what's going on with families and their situations. And this is community here, the school is. I know that's been such a big thing for my son, being a part of his playing, being a part of and connecting with his peers. And I know that's the same case for others here. But just such I can't press upon this missed opportunity for partnership, for creating community, and really kind of, leaning in on how we can support each other and with social emotional, those needed social emotional connections. And there's also wanted to give a shout out to you, Patty, for just constantly pushing in, leaning in, and the partnerships that you seek and really being able to move the school forward. So just wanted to put that out there.
Can I ask how much money you anticipated raising from the dine-ins and then the minted.com?
So the dine-ins typically raise usually in, are between 500 and less. They're not usually major fundraisers. So, we've pretty much usually promoted them as community building events that just happen as a nice bonus to bring in some extra dollars for the school. It's certainly not, it's not going to make or break. However, this was the first one that I believe that we have done where it was more than 2 locations. It's 3, and more in neighborhoods that we felt would reach more of our community. And also these were the opportunity for people to actually pick up a pizza or deliver a pizza and have it delivered to their home. So, in that particular circumstance, this is a unique circumstance because normally the dining nights have been in, and that's a chance for families to gather. But with it being a takeout option or delivery, I couldn't tell you really. It's new to us, so I don't know. We're doing 3 locations, and it was going to be delivery and takeout. So more accommodating for families who may, be at work or in a circumstance where they can't get to the restaurant or whatever the situation was. We were trying to make it a little bit more doable for everyone in this case.
And how much from the minted?
The minted last year, I would have to double check that, but I don't believe we raised, I think it was around $200 or $300 last year, but that was, like I said, we started late. We didn't learn about Minted's fundraisers that they did with schools until December. And I quickly, jumped on it and tried to grab it as quick as I could. And again, we also were waiting for a meeting where we could get it approved. It's not something like I could just do it and then it's automatically approved, unfortunately. So I don't believe it got approved until the December meeting last year. So we could, I think we would have been able to raise a lot more. Many families said, oh, I wish I knew about that, before. We've already got our holiday cards. And so we were trying to get ahead of that this year. I made a note specifically this year to remember to do that earlier.
Got it. Thanks, Patty.
Sure.
All right. Thank you, Patty. Well, we've had the conversations. Once again, we don't have quorum, but we've got a deeper understanding of what we have here. I think it's an incredibly missed opportunity for the school, and that's where it is. I'm going to open the floor to public participation. If you'd like to speak, I'm going to look through the chat just to see if folks put their names in the chat, want to speak. Just looking through it here. Let's see. Okay, Patty, I think is there anything else you wanted to say?
Just, I really want to say a big thank you to those of you that called the meeting and made the attempt to work with this. I really appreciate that. I'm extremely sad that we weren't able to get a quorum. I don't know why we weren't able to get enough people available for a very short and brief meeting that's on, Zoom, not asking anyone to come to the school or anything. So it's disheartening, and I just have a lot of feelings about that, and I guess that's my personal comment about that. But I really did want to thank all of you, Sarah, Mr. Hall, Shirag, Tina, for setting it up and making the attempt. It means a lot to me and the board. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Patty.
Dana Crummett? Yeah.
Hi. I'd also like to express my thanks to you guys for holding this meeting. I really appreciate it. I wanted to just go back to Shirag's question regarding the assistance fund. You had asked how much is in it. And it's my understanding from our last meetings about this that it currently doesn't have anything in it. It still hasn't really been established. I think that's where the Bulldog Boost comes in, Bulldogs Bop. I think that was going to help contribute and start that fund. And then I also just wanted to tag on to Patty talking about the fundraisers. One of the things that are great about dining nights and things like the Minted is that's money that a lot of families are already spending on, a meal out or holiday cards. And if you can add a bonus to have it, contribute to your school, it's just great. I just did one at my other school. They did donuts, and it's like we were already going to get donuts. So it was so anyway, I just wanted to add just another great benefit of these fundraisers is that these are already things that people might be doing, and so if that can help the school too, it's really great. So thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you, Dana. Molly? Molly Albright?
Yes, sorry. Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much. And definitely thank you to the LSC members, Sarah, Tina, Shirag, and Mr. Hall for, calling this meeting and being here to attend as well. Was just curious as to whether or not the date made it difficult for others to attend on the LSC, or were other members just unwilling to participate in something where this, these community building activities and these opportunities to raise funds would be allowed. I don't know if you're able to give any more information as it relates to that, but, it certainly is it's disheartening to see that we could only get 4 members of an LSC to participate. And again, thank you so much for this, but just wasn't sure if there was any more information that you could give on that. I appreciate that.
Sure. When I checked just some of the emails that came in, I know that there was one date conflict that was articulated that I'm aware of. Yeah. Thank you, Molly. Any other comments or questions from the public? All right, I don't see any in the chat. So it's about 6:19. Our next official meeting is December 2nd at 6. So we thank you everyone for your participation, your time, and your patience and flexibility to be a part of this conversation. And we'll continue the work December 2nd.
Hey, real quick before you close this out,
go ahead.
Sarah, I just want to say, Sarah, thanks for your leadership call in the special meeting. It was appreciated. It was the right thing to do. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a quorum, but it's important, I think, to try to meet the parents who do the fundraising in this school. To try to meet them, I don't know, halfway is not the right expression here, but nonetheless, what you did was the right thing.
Yeah.
So thank you for that leadership.
Yeah, thank you, Shirag. And really, it's just, once again, it was a simple error that could be simply corrected. And here was an opportunity to really lean in and take advantage of that. So
Second Chirag's comments for sure. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Hall. Thank you, Chirag.
Right. Thanks everyone for attending.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everyone.
Yeah, have a good night.
Be well, and we'll see you. Happy holidays.
Take care, everyone.
Okay.